I remember being at New Park, and I was like, struggling to fucking mingle with a lot of them. Like, I'm not gonna chat shit, like, because most of the people that were there were like rats, right? They were like spineless vermin. Mm. I'm not bullying them for any of them for saying this, but obviously, like, you know, when I was around Shane Maher and Mitchell Sheridan and Lloyd Kerr, that, like, it's not me mentioning names, you know, to boost my self esteem or my ego or whatever. Like, you know, I'm obviously telling you the truth. Like, you know, they look like shit, right? But because obviously this is the interpretation that I will get, like, me, like, years later, look, thinking back at that time and thinking like, oh, why would I ever offer a person like that, like a person, like a group of people out of their fucking heads, right? Ain't got the head screwed on, right? I was the only one there that had it, right? I was the only one there that had his head screwed on. And I remember a time, I think it was Shamer that, you know, I walked up to, and, you know, he, the fucking vermin, right? Like, obviously, I was trying to conversate with and be friends with, and it was a big mistake because obviously this piece of shit did not respect me when I was there, and obviously when it comes to respect, it's a big thing with me because it's obviously when I look at this generation, I think people can just say, you know, and I'm like, but that's kind of what we do. You know what I mean? It's why we do what we do. Is like, you know, you want to be a public figure and you want to be taken seriously. So you have to enforce this. You have to say, I should be getting the respect that I deserve. And that's the character I sort of enforce now. Like, back then, I was kind of chasing the wrong sort of side of things, like the wrong angle. Like, I was just out here trying to make a name for myself, and what I never realized back then was I had a name for myself. And these guys, they wanted to challenge me because they knew, for some reason, I had it all. I was talented. Yeah. Like, I had the best, you know, whatever it was, and the good looks and everything, and I'm not saying that these guys, you know, especially these kids on social media today, don't. I'm not saying that, right? I'm just saying, like, you know, people just need to wake up and think life is too short, bro. Like, you have to watch the news, right? You have to read the newspapers, and you have to come to school with this interpretation, like, we're not here for that very long, right? And I don't mean to, like, drop some depressing shit on people, but, like, this has always been my mentality, even when I was at school. Like, whoever I was conversating with, like Islamic, Muslim, Indian, black, white, like, you know, you show people some respect. You know what I mean? These people, they weren't that type of, they weren't, it weren't for them, bro. They, you know, these rats today, you know, the rats of this generation, rats in a maze, whatever they call themselves, right? You have to think to yourself, like, these aren't it's not for them. Yeah, and it's funny because it's like, I think about it, you know, and I don't mean to sound so confident when I say this, but, like, the thing is, I watch this YouTuber, and, you know, how passionately he speaks in videos, and it's like, it's not just because it's his voice, it's how passionate he is on videos, and it's the same for me because I'm so passionate about grime and rap and discussions, and, you know, whatever I'm doing, like, I'm passionate about it, and I'll do it, and I'll go in. And I think, like, especially back in that time, like, being a bully and owning the room, like, there are ways around it, and there are ways to get what you want, and being an asshole ain't that. Yeah. And I think, like, it will only get you so far in life. And I think, like, to me, I have a better understanding of how people work, because people are vermin, right? And I'm not disrespecting anyone by saying this, because, you know, obviously, when you look at this generation, you have to be honest, everybody will comment and share some sort of negative perspective on the situation, but I'm not negative. When I look at this generation, I think you could be the best. You're talented. You can do backflips, front flips. You can play football. And I think, like, when I look at back in the day, like, when I used to play sports, I got owned. I got fucking murked by these people. Like, I look at New Park Squad and I think they were that good. But then you kind of think, like, why, if you're that good at something and you dominated me at it, how can you be angry and mad at me? Like, what have I done to you? And the fact is, nothing. Yeah. And I could say this to my brother YX, I could say this to Sunday Manjinda, that we don't speak anymore, or Adam, or Tyrese, or Tom, but the fact still remains the same. It's like, what the fuck did I do to you? You know what I mean? And that's the question, because I always sit here and I always think, like, if things have been done, like, I shouldn't have added these guys. Right, I shouldn't have made that leap. I shouldn't have added them on PlayStation. I shouldn't have messaged them. I shouldn't have got in contact with them. I should have just said, if you want to be a rat bastard, then go be a rat bastard over there. But I wasn't a nasty person. Like, I'm not a nasty person now when I'm making freestyles and I'm like saying that's a grind freestyle. Like, to me, when I think about freestyles or rap, when I make freestyles, that's what it sounds like to me. And that's how it should be. That's what I want it to sound like. And the problem with this generation is kids will always say they can do it better, but they can't. That's the biggest issue that I have and I take offense to, because it's like, if that's what you want it and that's how you want it to be, then make it that way. Like, you have the time to make it. Like, if you think about grime back in the day, like JDZ Media videos, how many videos over the years have been deleted, and how many rappers, so many kids have taken themselves out and names dropped, and, you know, the scene being, you know, like new guys coming in. I'm not thinking, but that was a culture back then, bro. Like, a lot of kids just, they were trying to find something that they were good at, and for me, I didn't think, oh, I wanted to be a grime artist, or I wanted to spit bars. Like, you know, it was a path that unfortunately I was pushed into, and I just never really, other than this, I just don't really think that there's anything else I can do and offer this generation except what I've gone through. And for me, it's therapy and it's helpful, because people, whether they listen or not, they need to realize that there's ways around it and there's ways to deal with it. Like me, I'm not going to run up on a bitch and disrespect them, like, you know. Again, I think time and a place. But these guys that I used to catch with in class or have friendships with or be associated with, they had a different mentality, and that's why I dominated them. Yeah. Because I'm that guy, bro.